like to express my gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Dr. Rameshwar Singh, Sir, for joining us. We feel privileged to have such a stalwart veterinary profession in our midst. The objective of this 10 days training program is to provide a forum to communicate and discuss new developments that advance the laboratory diagnosis of animal disease. Diagnostic investigation has expanded across the wide range of modalities, including biochemistry, hematology, acid balance, endocrinology, blood evaluation, cytology, CSF examination, urinalysis, and proteomics, including postmortem examination. All the topics will be covered by renowned veterinary pathologists. I hope during the training program, we will learn a lot of new things and new knowledge will enhance our diagnostic capabilities. Traditionally, laboratory diagnostic for veterinary pathogens have been relied on methods of detecting the pathogens by culture or serology. Over the years, new molecular diagnostic techniques have been incorporated into veterinary laboratory, and older techniques have been optimized for the rapid and specific diagnosis of animal disease, which is crucial for differential diagnosis and successful patient management. The topic will be covered by renowned veterinary pathologists across the country. The list of speakers are Dr. S.K. Panda, Sir, Dean, College of Veterinary Animal Science, Bhubaneswar, Odisha; Dr. R.C. Ghosh, Professor, College of Veterinary Animal Science, University Chhattisgarh; Dr. Amita Dubey, Associate Professor, College of Veterinary Science and University Jabalpur; Dr. N. Nawab, Sir, Professor, Department of Veterinary Pathology; Dr. Amajit Singh, Sir, Professor, Department of Veterinary Pathology, Gadhwa, Ludhiana; Dr. N.K. Sood, Sir, Retired Professor, Department of Veterinary Pathology, Gadhwa, Ludhiana; Dr. M.K. Gupta, Sir, Professor and Head, Department of Veterinary Pathology, Ranchi Veterinary College, Ranchi; Dr. Rajendra Singh, Sir, Retired Head and ICR Emeritus Professor, Division of Pathology, IVR, Ijatnagar; Dr. N.V. Kurkure, Professor and Head, Department of Veterinary Pathology, Nagpur Veterinary College; and Dr. Madhu Swami, Director Research Services, NDVSC, Jabalpur. I would like to express our gratitude to all young speakers who will deliver an exceptional presentation during the training program in the coming 10 days. All the speakers' presentation will insight and expertise will make a significant impact, and we will grateful for your valuable contribution. Thank you again for confirming and sparing the valuable time for training program in spite of busy schedule. Secondly, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all my colleagues who were always more than ready to lend their support in making this event success. It is not possible to take name of all, so I want to thank everyone who contributed in some or other way toward this event. I would not have been possible without the support of you all. Finally, I sincerely hope that the discussion in 10 days training and information shared can be applied effectively in our workplace, that our hard work will continue to bear fruit and reduction of damage caused by the disease in animals. Thank you all for your attention, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I may invite Dean Kovas, Dr. Chandrahas, sir, for his valuable opening remarks. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Purnima. Esteemed guests, distinguished participants, fellow faculties, eminent and distinguished resource persons, ladies.
Sir, exact ana sonara.
Please mute everyone. Is requested to kindly mute everyone. Only speaker should be open. Otherwise, kindly mute everyone. The person who is controlling, kindly mute everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm doing it. Sir, you please continue.
So, as mentioned by course director, once again, I welcome you all to the inaugural session of the 10-day online training program on the basic and advances in veterinary clinical pathology, jointly organized by 3 departments, Kovas Department of Veterinary Pathology, Kovas Kishanganj Department of Veterinary Pathology, BVC Patna, and SPFCA Kishanganj chapter. Today marks the commencement of journey towards expanding our knowledge on to sharpen our skills and furthering our understanding to this crucial field in the veterinary science. Allow me to extend heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Rameshwar Singh Ji for gracing the occasion. Sir, with your presence, we are wholeheartedly thankful to you, sir. Your unwavering support and visionary leadership have been instrumental in shaping this college as well as our Bihar Animal Science University partner. And your endorsement of this training program reflects your commitment to excellence in education and research. I would like to express my gratitude to DRI cum Dean PGS Dr. Veer Singh sir, Director of Research Dr. VK Saxena sir, the Dean of Bihar Veterinary College Dr. JK Prasad sir, the Registrar Dr. Sanjeev Kumar sir, SWO Dr. Ajay Kumar Sharma sir, Dr. Umesh Singh, Dean SGIDT, and all other senior faculty members for their invaluable contributions and steadfast dedication to fostering the academic growth and innovation within our institution. To the esteemed participants gathered here today, I extend a warm welcome. All the participants, your presence is a testament to your commitment for the professional development and your passion for advancing the field of veterinary clinical pathology. Over the next 10 days, we have a unique opportunity to engage in intensive learning, exchanging ideas, and forge lasting connections with fellow professionals from the diverse background adhering during this training program. As we embark on this journey together, it is important to recognize the significance of veterinary clinical pathology in safeguarding animal health, ensuring food safety, and advancing various biomedical research in the field of veterinary profession. Whether it's a diagnosing disease, investigating the cause of morbidity and mortality, or developing novel therapeutic interventions, the role of veterinary pathologist is indispensable in promoting the well-being of both animals and humans. So I think throughout this training program, we will delve into both the fundamental principles and cutting-edge advancement in veterinary clinical pathology. I hope that from understanding the basic concepts of the disease pathology to exploring innovative diagnostic techniques, and we may emerge newer research trends through this training program. I hope that through this training program, we may equip ourselves with the knowledge and skills necessary to excel in this veterinary clinical pathology field. I encourage all you kindly participate in this session actively. Ask your doubts, questions, and engage in fruitful discussion with all the esteemed and distinguished resource persons and fellow participants. Only your active participation and involvement will enhance your learning experience, and it will finally contribute to the collective wisdom of our academic community. At last, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all the distinguished resource persons and Dr. S.K. Panda, Dean, College of Veterinary Animal Husbandry, Odisha, for joining this session. I also express my appreciation to all the members of organizing committee, all faculty members and support staff who have worked tirelessly to make this training program a reality. Your dedication and hard work only led to the foundation of this training program, and for that, I am highly grateful to all of you. With that, I wish you all a productive and enriching journey ahead. May this training program inspire you to push the boundaries of knowledge, embrace innovation, and make meaningful contributions to the field of veterinary pathology. Once again, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your best wishes. Up next, I may invite Registrar Basu, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, sir, for his precious words of blessings. Please, sir. Up next,
है क्या?
And
I
शायद
think he is not here.
up next, we have Dean BVC and President of the SPFCA, Dr. J.K. Prasad, sir. And I'm so happy to invite him to share his opening remarks in the behalf of SPFCA. Please, sir.
So thank you very much. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Bihar Animal Sciences University, Patna, Dr. Rameshwar Singh, Dr. Chandrahas, Dean Kawas Kishanganj, Dr. Professor Veer Singh, DRI cum Dean PGS, Dr. V.K. Saxena, Director Research of the University. We have our guest, Dr. S.K. Panda Sahab, a renowned pathologist and Dean, College of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, Bhubaneswar. All the participants, faculty members, and students join this important 10-day training program. I welcome one and all in this very important training program. As you all know that the topic, if you see the topic of this very training program, is basics of advances of veterinary clinical pathology. Certainly topic is very, very attractive topic. And I hope that this will be very much useful for opening our standard pathological diagnostic laboratory at our Kishanganj, because we all know that this is a very new college, and already we have gone through first VCI inspection, and very soon the team is approaching, that will be approaching for second inspection. So this will be very much helpful for our faculty members to open this quality diagnostic lab. Also, I'd like to appreciate and thanks to the Dean, Dr. Chandrahas, because in this year, starting of this very new financial year, on day one, we have started the very first activity under SPFCA. So certainly, he deserves appreciation, his whole team deserves appreciation. And certainly, one thing more I'd like to add, that there must be provision of pre and post evaluation procedure in this day's training program, because until unless we are having the evaluation procedure, certainly that may not be quite helpful. I hope there must be some provision. If not, we can make such provision. One thing more I would like to share, just today morning, I was browsing this Agri Diksha portal. I have just shared to our Honorable Vice Chancellor. And I am happy to share that our university is now ranking at 5th rank in uploading the different lectures on Agri Diksha portal. So certainly within very shorter time span, in 2 years only, we are at 5th position. And I hope if we'll continue uploading the lectures, means lectures away from the routine class lectures I'm talking about, certainly in coming 1 year or 1.5 years, we can reach at first position. So certainly this was possible with the leading role, with the guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. And I'd like to appreciate particularly all those teachers, our faculty members who are involved during the lecture. So I do believe that this 10-day training program will be very much helpful for all the participants. And certainly this will increase the level of knowledge to all the participants. So I don't want to take much time. And again, I'd like to extend my heartiest congratulations to all those participants that they are going through all these important lectures, and good number of renowned pathologists will be delivering the lecture in this training program. So thank you very much. Thanks one and all.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us in this new venture and sharing the new happy news with us. Up next, I may invite Director Research Basu, Dr. V.K. Saxena, sir, for his specious words of blessings. Please, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor Basu, Patna, the esteemed Speaker, Dr. S.K. Panda, Dean, OAVT, Veterinary College, OAVT, and fellow senior colleagues of the Basu, Dr. Veer Singh Saab, Dr. J.K. Prasad ji, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, and the Dean, Provast, Kishanganj, and the faculty of Kishanganj and BBC Patna, and all the participants who have joined from different parts of the country in this training program. So welcome to this training program on behalf of Basu family. I'll just quote few of the phrases which have been written on the different departments of a medical college. Perhaps it's medical college Kanpur. For medicine, it was written that a physician knows many things, but he can do little. A surgeon knows little, but he can do everything and anything. A pathologist knows many things, but it is too late. But now these phrases need to be rewritten, because the way the science is developing and the new knowledge is being infused in different disciplines, especially now molecular aspects in molecular biology aspect in pathology also, they have taken into different dimensions. And as such, now the diagnosis of different diseases, even during their lifetime, they have led to the diagnosis of the disease and their suitable treatment. So the topic is very much apt and as per the need of the time, and it's really give a deep knowledge to the participants regarding their different new recent advancements taking place in field. So 10 days is not much for such kind of training program when you have to give some in-depth knowledge for a particular aspect. But at least the beginning is good. Beginning is more important, and I think during this course the participants will learn a lot, and interactions are very much important. Dr. J.K. Prasad also told that evaluation should also be done. Similarly, evaluate the participant, that how they react to the lecture and how they respond to the questions whatever asked by the lecturer, or how they ask the question to the lecturers. So this way it will increase the way of interaction among the student, among the participant and the orator. So it's really good beginning, and Dr. Chandras has done tremendous work taking this new college to the newer heights under the able guidance of our worthy Vice Chancellor. So with this, I send my warm wishes for a successful completion of this training program. And I think this will give you also good encouragement for the faculty and to the students who are newly joined to this college. So thank you very much. I won't take much time. Thank you very much, and really wishing you all the best. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. And yeah, surely we will conduct an evaluation before giving all the participants a certificate. Up next, we have DRI cum Dean PGS, Dr. Veer Singh, sir. Please, sir, share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much, madam. Namaskar. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Senior and invited Dean, Dr. S.K. Panda ji. Respected Director Research, Dr. V.K. Saxena ji, Dr. J.K. Prasad ji, Dean BBC, Dr. Chandras ji, faculty of both the colleges and participants. Friends, I'm very happy that training, whatever training, it is an education and we are learning something every day. So this training will be also helpful for diagnosis. In veterinary science, simply physical diagnosis is not sufficient. So we are taking help of laboratory diagnosis. And in laboratory diagnosis, generally all pathology, parasitology, and microbiology, 3 departments, they play great role. So diagnosis it is based on the laboratory analysis of body fluids such as blood, urine, tissue, then using by chemistry, microbiology, hematology, molecular pathology, and immunohematology, so many other supporting fields. So diagnosis should be perfect. As we have seen that most of the times in veterinary, they are simply writing the drugs. For example, in parasitology, generally they are giving anthelmintic. But diarrhea due to protozoa, there is no meaning of anthelmintic. If even helminths are there, if different group of helminths are there, because there is no broad spectrum which covers all the helminths. So it is very important ova from which helminth, nematode, cestode, trematode, we have to go accordingly and then we give treatment, then it will be better. Otherwise, animal is suffering and morbidity and subsequently mortality to take place. So friends, this training will be very useful as advanced technology is going day by day, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor highlight the new things regarding this field also, although he is very brilliant in many things and we learning every day by something from his speech. So this inaugural speech is very important, sir, to learn from you. And participants, they will also get benefit from this training because now many things change in pathology and we are having good pathologists in this BVC and as well as Kishan College. And last time there was blood fluke, and then immediately our team diagnosis, Dr. Imran Ali, especially highlighted this thing. So we are having good team of pathologists. So I think you will learn many things from senior pathologists from different part of the country. They are delivering this leading lectures. So it will be great helpful to you and us also. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you so much, sir, for your blessings and decoding the clinical pathology with such imperfection. Up next, I'm grateful that our first speaker, Dr. S.K. Panda, sir, Dean, Odisha Veterinary College, is sharing screen with us. I may invite him to bless us for this occasion. Please, sir. Panda, sir?
Screen sharing is disabled.
Unmute.
This is just a opening remark, first of all.
Okay. I thank Honorable Vice Chancellor Rameshwar Singh sir and all the colleagues of Basu and all my dear students and the faculty colleagues who are really spearheading the online events in the country. I'm very happy that even during COVID situation, there was organization of one webinar on wildlife where I was a speaker. I was really overwhelmed because of the support and participation from almost all the people. When people were not knowing about the online events, people were not knowing about Zoom, Basu came forward for all these events. So I am really very much thankful to the university under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Vice Chancellor. There is a lot of developments, whether it is online or offline, and I'm always involved with the faculty pathologists of the college, both the colleges, Dr. J.K. Prasad and Dr. Chandrahas,
both are very close to me. Even also the students from Patna Veterinary College are also coming here for intensive training program, for which we are also reciprocating. And at the same time, all the faculty pathology colleagues are always in touch with me and my colleagues for the sharing of the knowledge and the inputs they are giving and also getting from us. So this is based on a very important auspicious day on Utkal Divas from Odisha. From here, I once again thank Honorable Vice Chancellor and all my colleagues there. We will work together in the coming days, not only in the field of veterinary pathology, but in the field of any disciplines of veterinary science for the best in a veterinary profession. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. We are fortunate enough to have an incredible personality who always speaks with knowledge and elegance. Honorable Vice Chancellor Basu, Dr. Rameshwar Singh, sir. Sir, I humbly invite you to share your words of blessings with us. Please, sir.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to all participants here. Senior officers from Basu and Dr. S.K. Panda, Dean Odisha Veterinary College from OUAT. All participants, dear faculty members, I am very happy to see the launching of this new training program. As Dr. Prasad was mentioning that we are doing it on the very first day of the new financial year. Actually, I was wondering why we congratulate each other and give our good wishes on the 1st January. We should do it on 1st April. Our financial year, we get money, and happiness is certainly related with the availability of funds with us. So I, wish you real prosperity. That is the good flow of funds to all of you for your work throughout this new financial year. We make our work plans from 1st April to 31st March, and we also do the monitoring of our work, of our progress in a financial year. So it's a very good beginning that we have started this, webinar, and very special 10-day program, not a standalone webinar. It is a full-fledged 10-day program on this 1st April. And again, I have noted and would like to compliment all of you for starting this program ahead of time, 7 minutes ahead of time. That is the beauty of this group, that all 60 above participants were present, 10-20 minutes before the start of this session. And Dr. Prasad said that I have joined and can we start the program? So I thought it is more than 60. Now the peak number is 73. So we started with almost 63 participants at 253 instead of 3. So congratulations to all of you for being ahead of time, being starting the activity and saving time. That is one thing. Another is our close ties. Dr. Panda was mentioning that we are all contributing, and he offered his collaboration and cooperation, and mentioned about the kind of involvement we have with each other, other institutions, especially our 2 colleges and Odisha. So thank you, Dr. Panda. And I would like to re-emphasize here that this very program is the hallmark of collaboration and cooperation. We can see eminent pathologists from IVRI, from MAPSU, from Jabalpur, from Jammu, and from Chhattisgarh, from Odisha, and many other places. So this collaboration is very much visible, and the aptitude or approach to help each other, to share our experience, to share our knowledge is very much evident. Friends, we all know the importance of pathology. This is very, very important, that the quality of our treatment depends on good diagnosis. How much we are able to handle the diseases. There is a saying, small quotation: as is pathology, so is our practice. So what kind of pathologists we are having, what kind of pathology services we are having, so our practice will reflect on that. If we have good pathologists with us and they give us good diagnosis, then it will be always excellent. It is easy to treat. I remember the case of my wife when she was admitted in a hospital in Gurgaon. So I told the consulting doctor that we have got the positive results, that is CNCA, PNCA, those antibodies. There was an autoimmune disorder. And the doctor said, yes, the diagnosis is good, but I want to make it excellent. So we will go for CT scan and also for some other procedures where you can see the granuloma and also confirm the diagnosis. So gold standards or confirmatory tests, then rapid tests. How much you can save time, you can easily give direction to the clinician, to the treating consulting doctor, in which direction to proceed and what inference you can draw. So this training program deals with the basics as well as the latest technologies, new emerging technologies. We are having molecular diagnostics here. We are having cancer diagnostics, recent advances, and many other speakers are also touching upon different techniques of latest developments. So this is a very critical link between the basic and clinical sciences. And this link needs to be strengthened further, and we need to have good, collaboration and cooperation to progress in this field. Friends, I was wondering when we visit, modern hospitals, maybe in most of the tier 1 towns or metropolitan cities, we see that the diagnostics tests are done somewhere, but the reports are immediately available to the consulting doctor, and almost everything is digitized. So the digital pathology has become a norm in human pathology, in human hospitals. And the benefit you can see is immense. So we also need to move further into this digital pathology, where we may, have to acquire the right kind of software, right kind of tools, whole slide scanners, where we can, scan the entire slide and prepare a repository. In pathology, this is very much required for teaching and as well as for consulting. In teaching, we used to have multi-headed microscopes where the instructor or teacher and the trainee or student, they will be looking at different fields, and then the instructor will be discussing what you are observing, how these changes are being reflected. But in digital pathology, you can just display everything on big screens, in greater detail. And not only one field, you can show the entire slide. You can see, move the slide and see all the fields, and thus, take show very good examples. So you have a repository of such material with you, which you call as the slides for training purpose and also for consultation. We know about this is the age for teleconsultation, and in pathology, second opinion is always very, very important. So we suspect something, we see the slides, but to be sure or to draw an inference, I need to talk to somebody, and if some other expert can see the slide, whom I trust, that if my opinion is seconded by or confirmed by so and so, I may say, for example, say Dr. Panda. If I send my slide to Dr. Panda and he also agrees to my observations after discussing the kind of findings, then I'm sure that this is the conclusion, and it helps a lot in building the opinion and arriving at a conclusion. So this training program should also, give an opportunity to all the senior pathologists here to discuss on this, how to develop a central repository of digital, slides, where we can certainly make use of them, and also for teaching purpose, for consultation purpose, and for the purpose of treatment. So friends, without spending more time, and I'm not an expert in this field, but I understand that the immense benefits will be there will be occurring to all the trainees here, and a lot of exchange of ideas will take place. So make it interactive, record all the lectures and also the discussion, and place them with all the keywords and all the searchable syntax, so that they can be easily discovered by online users for later purpose. And they may be one of the very sought after material. You can also, bring your slides in your presentations, so that they also can be seen by the students as well as other participants. So I wish you all good luck, and I compliment Dr. Chandrahas and his team for thinking of this and adding, one more chapter in the society, which is a new society launched by Bihar Animal Sciences University. That is the Society for Promotion of Companion, Arm, and Aquatic Animals. So this society certainly needs to grow further, and I earnestly, wish that all the participants here would consider and come forward to join the society as life members. So that will help us in, organizing more activities and becoming a voice, strong voice in this region on veterinary and animal science and aquatic animal issues. We hope this series will be, taken further, and we'll see many more such programs in the very this financial year. So once again, I convey my best wishes to all of you, compliment the organizers, and convey my thanks to all the speakers and resource persons for coming forward, offering their services and their cooperation in making this program a great success. So thanks and best wishes. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for your blessings and specifying the importance of diagnosis in clinical field and how we can extend our reach by using technical knowledge and AI. Moving towards the end of this session, I invite Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, sir, for the formal vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Purnima. Am I audible?
Sir, yes, sir, you are audible. Please continue.
Thank you. A very warm and graceful afternoon to all. Honorable Vice Chancellor Basu Patna, respected DRI Committee PJ sir, respected Registrar sir, respected Director Research sir, respected Dean BBC Patna, respected Dean Kovas Kishanganj, my colleagues, committee members, participants, dear friends, and everyone who have joined here. It's my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who really worked hard and going to make this training a very successful happening. I, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, on behalf of entire fraternity of Basu Patna, extend my sincere thanks to all the support system. Our very heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, who spared time to grace the occasion and honored this with his inaugural speech and inspirational thoughts. Your words will encourage us in all our future endeavors, sir. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to respected DRI Dean PJ sir, respected Registrar sir, respected Director Research sir, Dean BVC Patna, Dean Kovas Kishanganj for your valuable support and valuable suggestions. A special mention to respected Dean Kovas Kishanganj, Dr. Chandrahas sir, for being catalyst that stimulated us to do our best. With deep sense of appreciation, we are thankful to all our stalwart speakers who accepted our invitations and with their important and worthy lecture are going to make this training very informative to all of us. Especially Dr. Panda sir, who is going to add glory to this event by his vast experience, deep and intellectual ways of imparting knowledge. Sir, with his deep insight into the topic will certainly reveal some interesting facts today. We have no words to offer gratitude for your valuable presence today, sir. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheel must have started rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for detail. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very proactive and dedicated colleagues. Our friend Dr. Narendra, budding rock stars, pathologist Dr. Purnima, Dr. Malik, Dr. Sahu. I am short of words for your involvement and willing to take on the task to be done. Your hard work is evident. I am also gratified to all the participants for joining us and for their best wishes. I am sure that in the coming 10 days, you will be enlightened with some more skills in the diagnostic pathology. It is you whose feedback and responses will encourage us to do better. We are thankful to all the supporting staffs and friends for their untiring efforts. Last but not the least, a big thank to each one of you who made this session and going to make that coming session very memorable. We thank you for being with us. It has been remained a pronounced pleasure. Have a great day. Thank you once again. And over to you, Dr. Purnima.
Thank you, sir. At the end, I request all the participants to please turn on their videos for the formal photo session. Turn on your videos, everyone, please.
You may capture all the windows.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm capturing it. Please turn on your mic videos, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll begin with the technical session, maybe in 10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Ensuring
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sir.
और अभी नहीं कर सकते रेगुलर
हाँ,
We can start now, sir. We can start.
Start कर दीजिए.
Okay, okay. Sir,
Start.
Dr. Panda, sir, please share your screen.
Okay.
Sir, मेरी एक मीटिंग है. Can I leave? वीसी सर।
हाँ नहीं ठीक है डॉक्टर साहब, सब लोग करेंगे काम जो जिनका जरूरी है वो लोग।
Yes, sir, we can see the screen clearly. Hello?
Is the full screen is there?
Yes, sir, it
Yes.
is clearly visible. I request Imran, sir, to introduce Dr. Panda, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Purnima.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to thank our respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, DRI from Dean PGS, sir, Director Research, Registrar, sir, Dean Bihar Veterinary College, Patna, sir, and Dean College of Veterinary Sciences, Kishanganj. And Post Director, Dr. Narendra Kumar, and Dr. Purnima, Dr. Mahmooda, and all the faculty members. Today, first lecture, my guide, Dr. Shushan Panda, sir, delivered the first lecture on the topic of postmortem examination of animals as well as birds and reports in writing skills. So I give short introduction to Dr. Susen, sir. Dr. Susen, sir, working as a Dean, College of Veterinary Science, Animal Husbandry, Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology, Bhubaneswar. Involved in the teaching, research, and extension activities since last 27 years. He is a professor in veterinary pathology and well-known veterinary pathologists as well as in the wildlife pathology. He has bagged more than 10 national and state awards. Some of the awards, particularly Dr. Kanti A. Sastry Awards for the best research articles in pathology, published in Indian Veterinary Journal for the year 1994, and Shri Ram Lal Agarwal National Award for the advancement of indigenous veterinary medicine, the year 1996 as well as in 1997. And Best Teacher Award for the Veterinary Faculty of Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology for the academic year in 2008 and as well as in 2009. Best Wildlife Pathologist of Indian Association of Veterinary Pathologists during the Veterinary Pathology Congress in the year 2015. Dr. B.C. Naik Memorial Lecture Award during the Asian Veterinary Pathology Congress in 2017. As well as Professional Excellence Award in the IAP Zonal Conference during 2020. Ranchi Veterinary College, Buksa Agriculture of University of Agriculture. An eminent veterinarian award by SARC Regional Veterinarian Association on Wildlife Veterinary Day, April 29, 2023. So, sir, during his professional career, he has guided 32 numbers of PG students as well as 8 number of PhD students. He has published 150 numbers of national and international research papers, 15 numbers of popular articles, and 2 practical manuals. 1 book and 5 book chapter, and attended more than 100 national and international seminar, conference, training program, workshop, and delivered lead papers, oral and poster presentation. Dr. Panda, sir, has run a research project on wildlife reported disease in Odisha University of Technology. He organized National Veterinary Pathology Congress in the year 2013 at Bhubaneswar. He has conducted training on the diagnosis and control of bird flu and postmortem examination of animals, government veterinarians, particularly in the Veterinary Research Training Institute. Dr. Susan, sir, acting in position in various scientific organizations like member of the Veterinary Education Group, World Veterinary Association, Zonal Secretary in Zone, Indian Association of Veterinary Pathologists, General Secretary of Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology, Veterinary Association, President Indian Veterinary Association, Odisha chapter. So, being the Dean, College of Veterinary Science, Animal Husbandry, he always take care of quality education to deliver to the future veterinarians in the college with most importance and engaging them with various technical programs. So without taking much more time, I request Dr. Susen, sir, to please sir, start.
Thank you, Dr. Imran. Once again, thanks to the organizers. And I welcome all the students, the faculty, to this 10 days training program. And again, also, people will ask, a training program on clinical pathology, how that starts with postmortem examination of animals, birds. it is obvious that animal owners are not able to present the sick animals in time. Many diseases remain undiagnosed. Animal owners are not able to afford the expenditure for the diagnosis of the animal diseases. Many veterinarians in the whole country are in a bare hand without any diagnostic tools. And many times it goes with trial and error method of diagnosis and treatment. So it is obvious that clinical diagnosis, laboratory diagnosis come together to have the best diagnosis. When there is a lot of limitations, there is best opportunity, and specifically with the pathologies. And once again, we all know that clinical pathology or laboratory diagnosis again is having a lot of limitations. Many times the diseases are diagnosed when the animal is dead. People say that when a person dies, everybody knows why this person died. But when an animal dies, nobody knows why this animal died. From there, we usually say that the animal disease diagnosis starts from the postmortem, from the dead animals. So this is a beginning in diagnosis. And many times also this is the end in diagnosis. This is best. When we spend lakhs of rupees to get an image in human disease diagnosis, whether it is ultrasonography or X-ray, whatever it may be for clinical diagnosis or laboratory diagnosis, or any molecular diagnosis, at least this is the best. A veterinarian holds the organs in his own hand without any cost, without any labor. The clinician holds the liver, kidney, lungs, heart on its palm. He is able to see in its naked eye. That is best. So a message of wisdom from the dead to the living. Till today, as Honorable Vice Chancellor already emphasized, golden standard methods of diagnosis cannot be undermined. And in animal disease diagnostic practices, postmortem diagnosis is still the best. People ask me, why, sir, in your veterinary college, postmortem hall is so big, whereas in medical hospitals, the postmortem halls are very less size, very less spaced, and what is done, people do not know. But as far as postmortem diagnosis is concerned, it is only for clinical. It is only for clinical diagnosis. It is only to save the animals. The best diagnosis exists. Any laboratory examination even starts from morbid materials that is collected from the dead animal. Whether it is molecular examination or whether it is histopathology, whatnot. Even it is difficult. There is a lot of limitations to collect the clinical samples, the biosamples from the clinically affected animals. We all know there is a lot of limitations in clinical diagnosis, clinical pathology, and even also the clinical examinations, for which this is best. This is the logic. This thing has happened in the liver, kidney, lungs, or heart. So this may be that. So logically, we can make a magic if we interpret the lesions, the pathological changes in different organs, which is the easiest, whether it is a poultry bird or a large animal or even wildlife. There is enormous scope and opportunity for the disease diagnosis from the morbid materials and also the naked eye examination, and that is nothing but postmortem examination. So we have to act. This is a time we have to act either antemortem or postmortem. But we have to act together for the best. Still, we are not in a position to have the diagnosis of the clinically affected animals, even more than 10 or 20% in our area or in our region. So you have to extend our investigative procedures to more animals day by day, and for which expertise is required. Expertise of recognition of pathological lesions in different organs of the dead animals. It is still the best. As I have already told, nothing is spent. It can be done at any place. Even a veterinarian without a degree of veterinary pathology also can conduct the post-mortem examination. So this is a subject not only of a veterinary pathologist. This is a subject of all the disciplines. So I want to mobilize and popularize in this way that whenever any animal dies in our college farm, I always invite all the clinicians to see what they have seen, how they see this animal after the death, and they learn from that. So clinical, specifically the clinicians really learn from the postmortem. Otherwise, there can be nowhere. They will commit the mistake in each and every case if they don't learn from the dead animals. And again, I say that all the cases give the best logic, which we can make a magic. I can give an example. A goat farmer was having tapeworm infection in large numbers. It was not able to be diagnosed. Trial and error method of diagnosis, as you know, starts from antibiotics up to any type of medicines available in the local market. A simple goat farmer presented an animal. It was sick. And he pressurized me, sir, you please kill this animal. You slaughter this animal and tell me what is the postmortem diagnosis. So this is the way how animal owners are also impressed with the postmortem diagnosis. And you will be surprised to know that after the postmortem, it was found that the goat was full of tapeworms. Anybody can diagnose. It is simply required to expose the carcass, nothing else. 100 goats have died in a place. Not a single case is exposed, or a necropsy examination is not done, and the animal is presented to a place in Bhubaneswar, 100 kilometers away, and finally a simple postmortem diagnosis, nothing, it is a tapeworm infection. So each and every case is different, each and every case is common, each and every case is easily diagnosed, and each and every case is easily treatable or preventable. It is up to us how to impress the people, how to impress the public, how to impress the farmer, how to impress the veterinarians also, those who do not take into consideration about the postmortem diagnosis. A veterinarian was taking a case of a TRP, he was not knowing that. He requested some people in the area to expose the carcass, and it was found that TRP. So you can know the case could have been diagnosed or could not have been diagnosed. But at least he could be able to know that it is a case of TRP. Then on that day, he called me, sir, today I have promised that whatever case fails in my hand, I will conduct postmortem, because I learned the postmortem diagnosis from today onwards. So like this, there are so many successful points with respect to postmortem diagnosis, with respect to naked eye examination, with respect to message of wisdom from the dead to the living, with respect to logic, which makes a magic. And from that, we all know that many times it is a beginning of diagnosis. So, but I never say that always we should act on postmortem. We should act either antemortem or postmortem, but we have to act together. So if you consider in one case like theileriosis, you all know that in this, specifically in this region of the world, lot of blood protozoan diseases, lot of animals are anemic, jaundiced, weak, debilitated, but this remains undiagnosed whether it is a case of theileriosis or not. You all know that a treatment of a case of thaliosis is very costly. We cannot treat. Many times the treatment is costly than the cost of the animal. So treatment of a case of thaliosis without diagnosis is a big challenge for a veterinarian. So the diagnosis many times is made after the death. This animal died, postmortem was conducted. You can see the pale skeletal muscles, jaundiced skeletal muscle, and most important pathognomonic lesions. Note the hemorrhages and punched out ulcers in the abomasum. So a single case, and many animals are suffering in a particular area, punched out ulcers. But again, we cannot wait up to the death. But the veterinarians are on our about the case, how to see the conjunctiva of the eye, even how to see the pale mucous membrane or pale oral mucosa. So post-mortem diagnosis has led that how to have a clinical examination, how to have an observation of the oral mucosa, conjunctiva, and also the superficial lymph nodes. So once the clinical investigation, post-mortem examination associated with the molecular examination, then yes, we can say that this case is a case of thaliosis, which can be well treated, because as we all know that pyroplasm, still blood smear examination is the best diagnosis, but it needs expertise. Even many small juvenile calves are also affected due to thaliosis. Even buffaloes, even goats, pyroplasms many times are not clear to the experts. Now we are going for acrid orange technique, even for PCR. So you can imagine the diagnosis, laboratory diagnosis, post-mortem diagnosis, clinical diagnosis, the treatment cost, and again, whether it is a primary disease or a secondary, all these aspects have to be taken into consideration for treatment of a case of thaliosis. But the diagnosis starts in a herd from postmortem. Now the diagnosis is common. It is a regular routine process in the farm for which we are able to control the disease. And we all know that the vector, which is very important to be taken care of. So a diagnosis comes to the shade now. A post-mortem diagnosis has come to the shade, control of vectors, and even the people who are looking for pathology, for molecular diagnosis are also they are doing that. It is not that it is a disease only for domestic animals, even also very seriously affecting all the wild animals in the area. I can give you one example. A giraffe, a male giraffe, tallest mammal, transported from Alipur Zoo, Kolkata to Bhubaneswar, Nandankanan Zoo, but it was so unfortunate. You can see how much costly, how much cumbersome process to transport a giraffe from Alipur Zoo to Bhubaneswar. A special cabin, but on the 5th day of its translocation, succumbed to death within 3 hours. Even we could not collect the blood. The antemortem examination of the clinical pathology could be undertaken after the death, though the blood was collected during the death process. You can see, so I was called for post-mortem examination. No blood examination could be carried out. So you can see very well the conjunctiva is so pale, oral mucosa is so much pale. It was not known who is going to examine the oral cavity. It is not so easy to examine the oral cavity also many times. It remains skipped. Jaundiced, pale abdominal surface below the skin. Enlarged hemorrhagic lymph nodes of the giraffe. Pulmonary hemorrhages, epicardial hemorrhage, jaundiced liver, slight nephritic pale kidney, congested spleen, and again, this pathognomonic lesion was also evident. In this case, that is nothing but abomasal ulcer in this giraffe. slightly reddish urine in the bladder. So imagine, so the case could be diagnosed, suspected, and suggested for thalassosis. So people laughed at us. How the animal died within the translocation of 3-5 days. Again, it is a phenomenon. I have realized, I have experienced, whether it is sheep and goat or a giraffe. Once animal is transported or translocated, it is supposed to have many secondary bacterial infection or even also many parasitic diseases. We should be very careful to have an investigation of the diseases, to have a look, observation of the clinical signs during that time. Anyway, this animal, again, people say, how the animal died so suddenly? But in literature, it is very clearly say that in many foreign countries, even African countries also, animals died within a span of 1 day, just in the form of outbreak. So the diseases are like this. So a message of wisdom again, Joy has given a message of joy. So the diagnosis, the post-mortem diagnosis, it is not that only for thalassosis. Always we say the post-mortem diagnosis is a pathoanatomical diagnosis. Post-mortem diagnosis is a systemic diagnosis. Unless we demonstrate a bacteria, unless we demonstrate any virus, we cannot say this is etiological diagnosis. Post-mortem diagnosis is always systemic. But this gives a way for the etiological diagnosis. Unless it is suspected on the basis of post-mortem diagnosis, on the basis of gross examination, we cannot go ahead. We cannot dispatch the samples to the appropriate laboratory for bacteriological or virological examination if it is having infectious etiology. Many times, even many non-infectious diseases also diagnosed very easily on the basis of post-mortem examination. And if required, we can extend for histopathological examination. Just I am giving an example how many common bacterial and viral diseases are playing a role and many parasitic diseases playing a role in these regions, and how post-mortem diagnosis come to the rescue, come to the help. Tuberculosis is a disease of heart. Tuberculosis is such a disease. I have seen tuberculosis in almost all types of animals. Cattle, buffalo, deer, bear, whatnot. And again, having a high genetic significance. And we all know that the disease is treatable. Human tuberculosis are diagnosed, still people are dying. So imagine the situation of the veterinarian, situation of the animals, where there is a case of tuberculosis. Many times, these nodular lesions, mostly in the lungs or in any organs, can give a hint for the existence of tuberculosis in the farm, a disease of civilization, a disease of herd, a disease of village, a disease of farm. So a single case on the basis of post-mortem diagnosis can be helpful to control the disease, at least in the whole herd. Even once upon a time, our college livestock farm animals were auctioned because of a tuberculosis. Even I visited Assam Agriculture University once upon a time, they were also asking me, sir, what will do? I also suggested, when there is no diagnosis antemortem available or is subjected or his application is very limited, so at least post-mortem diagnosis can come to the rescue of a diagnosis of a tuberculosis. So simple, so easy to diagnose, and which can be also confirmed on the basis of acid fast bacilli by taking a smear from these morbid samples. But we must diagnose a case of tuberculosis. Animals should not be thrown without a post-mortem examination. That should be the motto of each and every animal owners. And we should give all opportunity to have a diagnosis, specifically a post-mortem diagnosis. So deeper lesions, nodular lesions are so easy to diagnose, so should not be skipped and should not be undermined. Again, very common diseases, though the animals are vaccinated against HS and BQ, still the diseases are there. animals are thrown. So you have to think of how these two important common bacterial diseases for which animals are vaccinated, still the diseases are there either in the form of outbreaks or isolated deaths. We should come forward to have a postmortem diagnosis promptly and on the basis of epicardial hemorrhage, pneumonia, specifically the prevenous bronchopneumonia, and again the demonstration of bipolar organisms, and further molecular examination, we can come to a conclusion or a confirmation. Otherwise, again, we all know the infectious nature of these two important diseases like hemorrhagic septicemia and BQ. So a postmortem diagnosis, prompted postmortem diagnosis is required. Even in case of BQ, many animals are there suffering at many places. Veterinarians are not approaching that. We have to mobilize, we have to popularize that. How to have exposure. Muscular hemorrhage in the deep muscles, gangrenous myositis are very, very important to be taken care of. So that these two common important bacterial diseases to be diagnosed instantly. Again, many common viral and bacterial diseases are still there. People are biased. Whatever happening to the goats, they are suspecting a case of PPR. But unless we see the mouth lesions, necrotic lesions in the oral mucosa, and the nasal discharges and zebra stripes in the intestine, we cannot think of. Contagious caprine pleuropneumonia is taking a big role now. A mycoplasmal infection is still there. As you all know that the animals are subjected for many common bacterial infectious diseases and common antibiotics, but still this mycoplasmal infection is still there. And again, in dogs also many common infectious diseases are existing. Postmortem diagnosis comes to the rescue. You imagine a case of diarrhoeafilariasis, which is a disease can be diagnosed easily by antemortem examination. But you cannot believe, even costly animals, even police dogs, the dog squads, they are also dying due to diarrhoeafilariasis. It is because of lack of antemortem examination. It is because of lack of clinical pathological examination. The animals are dying. So the disease, a case of microfilaria, which could have been diagnosed by a simple wet blood smear. You can imagine such a costly dog diet. I have seen many 10, 15 dogs, lions, tigers are dying due to diarrhoeafilariasis. It is only because of lack of investigation when this animal is sick. So once the case is advised that these cases are diarrhoeafilariasis, the clinician is serious. You can see the diarrhoeafilarial worms in the ventricles. So a person who is very careful for his dog, now we have made a compulsion that each and every animal, if you are subjected for any clinical pathology, specifically hematology, microfilarial examination is done for each and every dog, whether it is asked or not, because it is very simple test. Putting a drop of blood over the slide, seeing under microscope in 10x, can give a diagnosis of microfilaria. Why this case will go to death? So this person is so careful. When he heard that his animal is having heartworm, he was very much impressed. And he has created a website for the dog owners because of his impressive diagnosis of his own dog. The simplest antemortem diagnostic method. We can see the microfilaria. So it is best not to see the diarrhoeafilariasis. It is best if we are able to demonstrate the microfilaria in the wet blood smear. So this is the best logic. So these police dogs are now every 6 months they are coming for our college veterinary clinical complex, and every 6 months almost 100 police dogs are examined routinely, and now there is no diarrhoeafilariasis. Even one veterinarian there was put to asked to suspensions also when 5-6 diarrhoeafilariasis cases were there and they died. Then when the cases were diagnosed, and they are treated. One day he told, sir, my job is now extended for another 2 years in these police dog squad, because all the animals have become very much agile. Their skin, roughness of the skin has already gone. So now the dogs have become very active. So a simple diagnosis has helped the whole dog squad. And even also a veterinarian's job was also at risk. A simple pyometra case. So you imagine, sir, you all know, each and every veterinarian knows that a pyometra case can be easily diagnosed, can easily be treated, and even also hysterectomy can be done. But how the dogs are coming for post-mortem and died due to pyometra? It is only because ante-mortem investigation was not thought of, it was not suspected, and at least I called the clinician who was handling this case, an assistant professor in clinical medicine. I told him, you see, this dog has died. Why this dog was not subjected for any clinical examination or clinical pathological examination? And again, very positively also he agreed, sir, I learned from this case, and next time a pyometra case will not fail in my hand. So this was a learning from postmortem. Then gradually, people cannot think of a dog having vomiting is a case of pyometra. People cannot think of ultrasonography. People cannot think of this neutrophilia. People cannot think of interpretation of elevated blood urea nitrogen or examination of discharges or radiography or ultrasonography, and the animal is dying due to pyometra. Very simple diagnosis of pyometra, seeing the pus, distension of the uterus, bloody discharges. Even then, the case remains undiagnosed and the animals are dying, and post-mortem diagnosis is coming to the rescue. But that case is helping others, so that at least, you see, this is hysterectomy. If it is diagnosed properly, we can think of hysterectomy. A surgery can be done and uterus can be removed. So we are having all the options: clinical diagnosis, biochemical diagnosis, then pathological diagnosis of a case of pyometra, and again the imaging diagnosis, and finally it is hysterectomy is done. But if it is not subjected, everything fails, animal dies due to pyometra. So it is up to us how we can act, both antemortem and postmortem. But we have to act together. A lot of cases of parvovirus infections are there. We all know that. But many times, so acute death, the disease remains diagnosed, remains undiagnosed. Clinicians are not in a position to take the help of diagnosticians also. But at least if the animal has died, this is bloody diarrhea. You can see hemorrhagic enteritis. Hemorrhagic enteritis. Postmortem diagnosis has come to the rescue of diagnosis of the case. We all know that the parvovirus infected cases are rushing seriously, though the diagnosis exists in the stool, the diagnosis exists in the blood, but still then animals remain undiagnosed. We can think of the stool examination, we can think of the blood examination, everything, and also we can confirm it. But again, we know the prognosis of the disease because of very high vomiting and diarrhea. When prognosis is very poor, instant prompt diagnosis is required. But at the same time, if animal is thrown, we cannot think of a case of parvovirus infection if postmortem is not subjected for diagnosis. Ehrlichiosis is very common. Many animals are dying. Again, also laboratory diagnosis or laboratory confirmation is very limited. But at least these are very characteristic pathological lesions. We all should learn that how these ehrlichiosis cases can be taken care of. Enlargement of the spleen, very characteristic. Hemorrhages in the urinary bladder. Hemorrhages in the urinary bladder. hemorrhages in the urinary, in variety of cases. And very important, hemorrhagic gastritis. Bloody contents, proliferative wall of the stomach, mucosa is folded, even hemorrhagic enteritis. So there is a lot of, we have to have a differential diagnosis, even from parvovirus infection and ehrlichiosis many times. It is not that a disease of dogs only, it is a disease of now tigers, lions, all carnivores. So if we get hints from this naked eye examination with respect to urinary bladder hemorrhage, hemorrhagic gastritis, hemorrhagic enteritis, enlarged spleen, and nephritis, at least we can suspect or suggest a disease like ehrlichiosis. The kits are available, molecular examination is available, but how many times the cases are subjected for this molecular confirmation or kit diagnosis? But 1 or 2 cases of ehrlichiosis can be helpful on the basis of postmortem diagnosis, so that we can think of this again a nephritis case in case of ehrlichiosis. Many dogs are suffering, many dogs are dying also due to ehrlichia. So all these find all the important features of the disease, which I am not going to describe, but at least we can think of that. With respect to blood tests like thrombocytopenia is very characteristic, again having clinical pathological significance, that to be taken care of. But many times we cannot go for this. So the best is these salient important pathological findings in different organs is suggestive of ehrlichiosis in a blood smear. Even also many times even worm infection also. Simple worm infection is also remains undiagnosed. Hookworms in dogs. And nowadays, the most important challenging task for the clinicians, specifically ascites in dogs, multi-etiological factors. But the best is which is systemic dysfunction has caused this ascites is to be considered for a clinician. Whether it is related to uterine tumor, whether it is related to ovarian tumor, whether it is related to any growth in the ovary, uterus, or peritoneum, it is very clearly seen during PM. But besides, ascitic causes are liver with abscess, even cirrhosis in the liver. Nowadays, many animals are suffering from ascites with multifactorial systemic dysfunction and etiology. And it is a challenging task to the clinicians how to deal with a case of ascites in dogs. Even nephritis. So an ascitic dog presented with a multifactorial etiology and multifactorial systemic dysfunctions to be taken care of. At least a peritoneal fluid can be examined. Serological examination, bacteriological culture, biochemistry, microscopic examination, and all the transudates and exudates can say that yes, whether it is a cardiac dysfunction related ascites or hepatic dysfunction ascites or renal dysfunction ascites or both, or any uterine or ovarian affection or parasitism. So we have to look for that. If it is not possible antemortem, at least postmortem is a must to have a correlation. So in this way, because I am being assigned with a topic like postmortem, but just I wanted to highlight the importance of postmortem diagnosis with respect to some common diseases in animals. Similarly, poultry diseases are also there. Then, if time permits and if you allow, I can go for the basic foundation of the postmortem. But these are all applied aspects of postmortem diagnosis which I am describing. So again, postmortem diagnosis Even if you say till today also seizure is the only way of diagnosis in poultry diseases. Disease starts from a hatchery, whether it is the moribund chicks, weak debilitated chicks from a hatchery on the very first day old chicks. Whether it is with respect to hatchery, with respect to parent stocks, who knows? Again, in the first week, mortality with various starting from E. coli up to debility, even within that there is also gout, salmonella, whatnot. So these weak debilitated chicks are storehouse of almost all types of bacterial and viral diseases. So the farmers are in a stress on the very first week. Early chick mortality is a challenge for all of us. So a post-mortem diagnosis at least helps. As you all know that post-mortem diagnosis, even you cannot stop a farmer to expose a poultry bird. Farmers are also very much adamant. Farmers are all more experienced. You cannot stop them of a diagnosis of a post-mortem diagnosis at least if they expose their bird and they can say that this is suspected for coli bacillus. But a veterinarian, a veterinary pathologist, a veterinary student, everybody should have knowledge about minimum common bacterial viral diseases and post-mortem findings with respect to that, so that we can survive in the poultry industry. Otherwise, we will be rejected. So E. coli, salmonella are very common bacterial diseases. As we all know that 50% of the diseases are common bacterial diseases like E. coli. So simple post-mortem diagnosis. You can see on the very first week, you can see abdominal distension. Omphalitis. As you all know, yolk sac is the best. Yolk sac gives nourishment. Physiologically, any organ which is very active, that is also very much prone to diseases. Physiologically active and also pathologically prone. So we should be very careful to take care of physiologically active organs. So this yolk sac, which gives nourishment for the first 2 days, for which we are able to transport the day-old chicks, they get an infection. The infection comes during transportation. Infection comes from the parent stock. Infection from horizontally also from the hatchery. Infection comes from the environment. Infection is having also a predisposing factor of the environmental stress, whatnot. With all, the birds are dying. Farmers are worried. Sir, farmers are coming, the chicks are coming to my farm, and within 1 or 2 days, the birds started dying. There is omphalitis. So people are not happy nowadays if you say that your birds are suffering from omphalitis. People will be happy if you say that this is omphalitis. People will be more happy if you say that this is due to E. coli. But people will be more happy if you say that what is the source of etiology. So systemic disease, in the special disease, and the source of the disease, and again the treatment also. So everything should be given in a single window system in poultry farming. So we have to be very careful or to be up to date with the industry. Otherwise, a veterinarian cannot sustain. So starting from diagnosis, physiology, pathology, then diagnosis, then what is the update, and to have a correlation with the industry, then only we can face the industry. So simply that physiologically active yolk has come to infected. And now once this yolk remains in the brooder nothing, high temperature. So once this infected yolk is in a brooder, so imagine indirectly we are cultivating the bacteria. The chick's body is a bacteriology lab now. So millions of bacteria are multiplied, and we are going to get an infectious condition. And again in birds, during postmortem, you can see the disease. The organs are so closely spaced, so adjacent to each and every organ. So the spread of the disease is very fast. So what happens here? So the implantation of the infection, the spread is so fast, the birds will be nowhere within few days. And again, horizontally also the diseases can spread to one bird to other bird. So we have to be very careful how to take care of these physiologically active organs so that the things should not pick up the infection. This is the intense inflamed yolk sac, and as you all know, they are very popular. Perihepatitis and pericarditis. A farmer also can give an instant diagnosis from a distance. He is asking you, sir, my birds are dying due to perihepatitis and pericarditis. How can I survive now? What will be the medicine? Is it secondary or primary? So fibrinous covering over the liver, fibrinous covering over the heart are very characteristic of E. coli infection. So you have to immediately ask. The source of infection may be due to water or due to the shade, because the infection can come from anywhere. But the most important culprit is nothing but the water, the waterborne diseases. Besides, a very common, specifically layer. You imagine a layer having peritonitis. So every day, in a layer, again, as I just described about the yolk sac, same way, in a layer, the oviduct is very active physiologically. Every day, one egg is passed. So once one egg is passed, it is laid, there is every chance of ascending infection. So by any means, if the egg is laid and by any means there is ascending infection, so oviduct is infected, and that give rise to egg-bound condition. So once the oviduct is impacted, so the ova which is shed is not able to be laid in the oviduct, which is again laid in the peritoneal cavity, and that becomes a foreign body. That gives rise to egg peritonitis. So egg peritonitis is so important because the disease which is bacterial can be treated. So we have to have again and prompt diagnosis, an instant diagnosis of a bacterial disease, because we all know that the treatment is a flock treatment, it is not an individual treatment. So it is very costly affair. So whenever we suggest for a treatment, we have to be very careful and confirm. We have to be very confident. Yes, this is nothing but a disease which is bacterial in nature, and the disease can be controlled. Similarly, there are many other diseases. I'm not going in detail, but at least specifically in backyard poultry, salmonella is very common. We have to think of these pedunculated stalks and a necrotic foci in the liver. Necrotic, small whitish foci in the liver also can be helpful for your diagnosis like salmonella. Besides, foul cholera, blood-stained mouth, pneumonia, again gangrenous dermatitis in the broiler has become very common. You can find gangrene in the skin, just a counterpart of a BQ. Again, IBD, still RD and IBD are together, are playing a big role in the poultry industry. But we have to have a diagnosis, whether it is inflamed swollen bursa fabricius or a muscle hemorrhage or a proventricular gizzard junction hemorrhage are very characteristic and pathognomonic with respect to infectious bursal disease or Gumboro disease. So we can give an instant suggestion. But still, Rannicate disease, Newcastle disease, with all precautions of vaccinations, birds are dying. So all these clinical signs will not be so much helpful, but at least we can think of the proventricular glandular hemorrhages at the tip of the glands. Very characteristic and specific. Of course, we can go for a serological and molecular examination in these days. So these diseases in poultry are to be diagnosed promptly because these are very common infectious diseases, whether it is bacterial or viral. Even also fowl pox still exists. Even many times I have seen these pox lesions are not seen clearly during living conditions. And most important is infectious laryngotracheatis and infectious bronchitis virus. Infectious bronchitis virus with gout is a problem throughout the country. Early chick, baby chick nephropathy, nephritis, and gout are very, very common. We have to take care how these viral gout to be diagnosed, how to have baby chick nephropathy to be diagnosed. Chalky white crystals deposited over the heart and kidney and all the visceral surfaces in an early chick. It was a disease of adults. Now it is a disease of youngs. That to be taken care of. Farmers usually fail when they do not get any treatment success. They also do trial and error. And most of the times they go for an antibiotics and they get the result if it is a bacterial disease. And many times there is recovery due to viral diseases. But a fungal disease like aspergillosis is always a challenge. Farmers do not get a clue of a fungal disease from the postmortem or from its decada examination or from its own way of treatment, for which this disease again poses a challenge to us for diagnosis. Very simple, small whitish grayish nodules in the lungs, Brooder's pneumonia. I am telling you many times also I have skipped Brooder's pneumonia though I have exposed the bird. So be careful, be critical to see the lungs in such a manner so that at least these small whitish grayish nodules can be examined and can come to your eye. That is very important. Even also that extends to the abdominal lesions and to the air sacs also. These fungal growths, small grayish node. Again, coccidiosis, you all know, very common, very easy to diagnose. But unless you do the postmortem, unless the birds are not presented to you, it is impossible. Bloody diarrhea, of course, gives a diagnosis, but you very well know that in deep litter system of housing, bloody diarrhea also is not clearly seen. So at least you can see the Zika, bloody intestine, marked enteritis, and paleness of the muscles. And besides, another important disease, which is a silent killer, it is nothing but aflatoxicosis. Aflatoxicosis, liver hemorrhage. These regions specifically, we usually practice of giving moldy feed, stored feed to the birds. Birds die in large numbers. Farmers are worried. So hemorrhages in the liver and hemorrhages in the muscles are suspected for this type of aflatoxicosis. Very common. Unknowingly, ignorantly, farmers give the stored feed to their birds. Or sometimes also the feed companies supply the stored feed with all aflatoxins, especially the mycotoxins. And nowadays, ascites. Again, ascites is always a problem with respect to many regions. This ascites is not with respect to any common ascites, whether it is related to lack of ventilation or a feed toxicity. Again, this ascites is due to a infectious etiology. That is nothing but inclusion body hepatitis, hydropericardium ascites syndrome. Very common. Jelly-like fluid found in the abdominal cavity. So all these common pathological findings can be helpful for all of us to have a diagnosis so that diseases can be prevented, diseases can be treated. So in this way, all the common animal bacterial disease or viral disease or systemic diseases to be handled both antemortem and postmortem, we have to act to in both the ways. If in one way we fail, we have to think of other way. If postmortem we fail, at least antemortem. So in this way, we have to go together. But These are all applied areas, but there are so many other fundamental areas. How to have a grab over the postmortem, how to have a control over the postmortem, how to be an expert in postmortem, how each and every veterinarian should understand postmortem, and how each and every veterinarian should realize that I am also a pathologist without a degree. A pathologist should try to make each and every veterinarian a pathologist. That is more important. How to popularize the science, because in the rule, postmortem can be conducted by any veterinarian. So how much time I will get, please? Can I know how much time I can get? So accordingly, I will close.
Sir, take your own time, sir.
Yes, sir. How much time do you need?
I can take more time, but you just up to what time your things can accommodate? Maximum another half
We
an
have
hour?
planned, sir, our window is 3 to 5, sir.
Okay. So I will maximum I can take up to 5:30.
Okay, okay. Please, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So again, so the fundamentals of postmortem, that is very, very important. We have to know the cause of death, nature of the lesion, and the nature of illness. Otherwise, people are not there, only you are exposing a carcass. So the systematic exposure and a scientific examination of the tissue and organs of the dead body is most important. If you do not expose scientifically, it is not that I nowadays I ask the people that you should not be so much systematic, because our main aim is to have scientific examination. So how I can see the organs in a systematic manner, that is more important. Even many times, you imagine a rabid animal, a rabid dog. We have to be careful. Nowadays, earlier, without a gloves, we were handling a rabid dog before 30 years. We are handling the brain. But nowadays, we should be very particular, careful, even refining, making a hole. We are collecting the brain samples for rabies examination as per the WHO recommendation. So that we should be in a position to do that. Many times, if it is asked for only rabies examination, at least we can go for an incomplete postmortem. Otherwise, it should be have a complete postmortem examination, detailed examination of the carcass, all organs. And many times also, disfigurement of the carcass is very less if you need a cosmetic postmortem, mostly in the army or police dogs. But our main aim, two important aspects is diagnostic and forensic or veterinary aspects. Of course, diagnostic aspects are there in veterinary aspects also. Forensic aspects also with diagnostic aspect. But we should be very careful if it is a veterinary aspect. But we have to be very careful. Many times now, the carcass is presented with many different situations. After 24 hours, after 48 hours, after 5 days. So always, I have remembered once I reached there in a village where 500 people gathered. A lot of animals were dying. Just when I landed there, people started telling, "Sir, you please tell what is the cause of death." Even I have not touched the animal. People are having that much of expectation that perhaps by doing a postmortem or by seeing the dead animal, you can make wonders. So you have to do that. You have to examine. And even a case which is partially putrefied, also you can get clue for diagnosis, specifically some postmortem diagnosis. But you all know that the factors which are responsible for the postmortem changes, we have to be very careful how the atmospheric temperature, it is perfect that the carcass should be preserved in such a manner so that at least atmospheric temperature will not affect further postmortem change. So I am not going in detail about this. PM changes appear quicker in large animals. So imagine larger animals, PM changes appear quicker in large animals, because large animal require a longer period of time before the body heat is dissipated. Again, external covering, thick hair or wool, fur, feather, retired heat, so PM changes seen sooner in thick haired animals. Even elimination of heat is retarded by insulation, rapid enzymatic and bacterial activity occurs. So these are some theoretical aspects. I can give my slides so that you can refer it specifically for the students. Again, fat beef animals decompose quickly because of the nutritional state of the animal. Widespread bacterial infection. If the animal is having widespread bacterial, again PM changes earlier. Specifically, pig flesh and horse. Pig flesh is soft, moist, and contains fat, so the rate of decomposition is rapid. Horse flesh is dry, rather firm, and decomposition is relatively slow. So how we can identify freshly dead animals, specifically by rigor mortis? So PM change is a rigor mortis, which is best. It starts within 2 to 8 hours and it disappears within 20 to 30 hours. That is helpful to know the time of death, specifically in forensic diagnosis. Rigor mortis, many times the presentation of the dead animal is mostly within 24 hours. Shortening and contraction of the muscles, joints stiff, body becomes rigid. So you all know how this rigor mortis play a very important role to know the time of death. So from these also you can know better time of death. Stiffness of the head muscles fast 2 to 8 hours. Then stiffness of head and neck, distal forelimbs 12 hours. Stiffness of hand muscle 20 hours. Disappearance again starts. So within 24 or 30 hours this disappears. Then bloated with putrid, foul smelling more than 30 hours. Anyway, so the distension, imbibition of hemoglobin along the blood vessels. Some of the changes which should not be confused with the postmortem findings. PM imbibition. You can see these are not any hemorrhage. This is decoloration of the tissues resulting from the breakdown of the hemoglobin and the action of bacteria producing hydrogen sulfide, discoloration. So you all know there is a pseudomelanosis. Whatever iron is present with hemoglobin in blood and hydrogen sulfide because of the putrefaction, there will be pseudomelanosis. Coloration vary with the content. So whether this type of pseudomelanosis you can see in liver or in the intestine also. So there are so many postmortem changes. Even sometimes also the organ becomes very soft. Liver, kidney. So these are the soft organs. It is a PM change, not a pathological change. So I am not going in detail about all these things. Even sometimes also this is also very important. Hypostatic congestion. Whenever animal is recumbent for a long time, an animal has died. So always there will be hypostasis at the ventral surface. So never confuse with a postmortem findings like pneumonia in this part of the lungs, this side. It is nothing but a liver motis or a hypostasis. Even sometimes postmortem bloat. Many times people say this is antemortem bloat or a postmortem bloat. Gaseous distension is a bloat, but whether it is due to postmortem or antemortem, it should be distinguished. PM displacement. So this is a PM distension or a bloating of the carcass. It is not having pathological significance. This is PM distension of intestine. Whenever these type of things are there, you will not find any pathological changes adjacent to this. So that means it is a simple PM change. PM distension of intestine. Even many times also, the animals are transported, a dead animal, so there is rupture of organs or tissues. So those rupture of organs or tissues should not be confused with a pathological change. Any or rupture pathologically happens, there will be adjacent inflammation, there will be adjacent hemorrhage. If simple rupture of the organs or tissues you find, you consider that is a PM change, not any antemortem or pathological change. So like this, finally, the carcass comes to putrefaction. We all know autolysis or putrefaction, whether it is autolytic enzymes of the cell or hydrolytic enzymes, they cause putrefaction. So this is a pure putrefaction, complete absence of inflammatory response, PM change. But here this paleness cannot be a putrefaction because there is adjacent pathologically normal or abnormal or normal areas are there. But usually the postmortem changes are totally uniform. Patchy areas are there throughout the liver surface. Even sometimes there is a mucosal sloughing due to postmortem change, stripping of the epithelium of the ruminal mucosa. So these are common. Even autolyzed kidney is very soft. So you should not be confused with a pathological pulpy kidney. And finally, after 24 hours of death, eggs will come maggots. Then 4 to 5 days maggots to pupae and pupae to adults. So this is a fresh carcass. This is a decomposed carcass, distended, bluish discoloration, foul smelling, and discharges from the mouth and orifices. This is advanced decomposition with maggots. Again, this is, you can see plies, advanced decomposition. The maggots have come to ply stage. So in this way, even also a mummified carcass. Even also you can see up to this stage. So 1, 2, 3 categories in necropsy in detail. If possible, these carcasses should be transported to a suitable facility. 4, 5, 6 categories examined to the extent possible. Internal examinations should always be conducted on intact carcasses because carcasses that appear decomposed externally can be a relatively good condition internally. So never think of from outside that this carcass is totally decomposed. So this is not suitable for postmortem examination. But if you want, you have to freeze the carcass, refrigerate at 4 degrees centigrade for small animals, and alternate to chilling, open the abdomen and cover with a soaked cloth so that this dead cattle can be preserved, so that there will be no further postmortem changes for examination after a few hours. Of course, each and every veterinarian should have a little knowledge of necropsy techniques. It should be conducted as early as possible after death with a written request. Written request is a must. Daylight, well illuminated areas is a must. Many times I have seen people ask, sir, one animal is presented in the afternoon, whether I can do that or not. Yes, if you can start, you can continue in the evening also. Area should be clean, chances of environmental contamination should be minimal, all natural orifices should be closed, handlers should be well protected with the gloves, apron, mask, cap and gumboot. You should be careful how your assistants are protected well. Postmortem examination should be thorough. And it is prohibited in case of anthrax. PM laboratory should be roomy, orderly, clean, well lighted, ventilated, away from the farm. Fly-proof nets in the doors and windows, hard surface floor, plastic paint or tiles on the wall. If no postmortem laboratory, it should be done away from habitation. You must have all these things: butcher knives, carbon stone, scissors, scalpel, forceps, bone cutter, bone chisels, hammer, saw, measuring tape, magnifying glass, weighing machine, postmortem table, all these things. Besides, for bacteriological examination, you should have a sterilizer, autoclave, spirit lamp, spatula, pasteur syringe, needle, vials, formalin, slides, NSS, trays, cotton, sterile swab, soap, all these things should be there in a kit So it is a postmortem kit. After postmortem, you should not search all these items. So first of all, the most important is history and clinical information and circumstantial evidence. Animal has died due to a snake bite. Animal has died due to a thunderstorm. Circumstantial evidence is very, very important besides history and clinical information. Because many times it is not that postmortem is 100% magic. Circumstantial evidence and history and clinical information also helps for a logical postmortem diagnosis. Again, carcass should be examined and identified with respect to all these factors. Body measurement is a must in wildlife. Its height, length, girth, all these things are also to be always measured. Besides breed, sex, color, number, and all these things are to be taken care of, because later on you will be helpless to get all these informations after the postmortem. Even many times. Then postmortem changes, time of death, external examination. Very, very important is external examination. Starting from skin, visible mucous membranes. As I already emphasized about starting from oral mucosa up to eye, natural orifices, nutritional status, rigor mortis, postmortem stages should be ascertained. So carcass is always specifically in cattle, it should be placed on its back and inclined to its left side. De-skinning is very, very important by making a longitudinal incision in full thickness of skin running from the pelvis symphysis to the chin. You can see this. Hind limbs or forelimbs are abducted. Coxofemoral joints are opened by cutting through tears and accessory ligaments. So this is very, very important because many diseases are there below the skin. Whether it is hemorrhage, whether it is gelatinization of the muscles, starting from BQ, up to many infectious diseases are also ascertained from here. Then we have to go for the small incision on the linea alba and extended anteriorly to xiphoid cartilage. Take care not to rupture the abdominal, not to puncture the abdominal organs. Inspect the abdominal cavity for position of the visceral organs, the presence of any abdominal fluid without disturbing or touching, whether there is ascites or not. Normal position of viscera is examined and abnormality is noted. So you have to see the esophagus. Then cut the duodenum between two ligations at the junction of the second and third part of the keep attached with the liver along with soap. Once the esophagus is removed, liver, duodenum, and pancreas is to be separated. Then the rest part of the rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. Besides liver, pancreas, and the duodenum, you can see here, and gallbladder. So this is one part. Then the other part. Then finally urogenital organs. So again, I am telling you, you should not be so serious or so systematically. Our main aim, how to bring the organs on the table so that I can have an examination. Then thoracic cavity, have to remove the diaphragm. And the lungs and heart is there. So you have to cut the trachea. But most important is, you have to remove the lungs through the thoracic inlet. Trachea, tongue, part of the trachea, tongue, you can see here. How you can see the oral cavity? You have to give an incision at the medial aspects of the mandible so that the oral cavity is exposed. Tongue is freed, pharyngeal attachments. So now that can be also removed. Esophagus is examined. And then organs, displacement of the organs, accumulation of fluid, adhesion, parasites, abscess, tumor can be examined. Then finally the head. You can give incision at the atlanto-occipital joint. Head is removed. Then you can give incision like this. First, you have to remove the skin and muscles over the skull. Then you can make a longitudinal section of the whole head and you can examine. the brain also. So the visceral organs are to be examined systematically. All the organs, lungs, heart, liver, kidney, these are the, you have to see the lungs through the bronchial passage. Pericardial sac, epicardial surface, endocardium, ventricles, valves, spleen, liver surface cut into slices, liver surface and parenchyma, gallbladder. Then kidney is to be cut into two halves. See that capsule is easily peeled up. If it is a nephritic kidney, capsule is not easily peeled up. Then after removal of the capsule, see the cortical surface of the kidney. Any necrosis, any infarction, any hemorrhage. Then finally, you have to see the digestive tract, starting from rumen reticulum, abomasum up to the intestine. Throughout the length of the intestine, presence of contents, parasites are to be examined. In this way, the organs are examined. Of course, the basic technique and requirements necrosis are similar in other animals also, wild animals, except some anatomy peculiarities that we have to take care. But most important is the disposal of the carcass, disinfection of the site, disinfection of the handler, disinfection of the instruments, and disposal of the consumables. But before that, postmortem finding must be noted immediately after postmortem. So even also I am assigned how to have a description of a description about the postmortem writing. I am telling you, nowadays photographs are very important. But in the court of law, the postmortem report is very, very important. Postmortem report is a word presentation of your postmortem findings, which is more valid and legal. Legally, the postmortem report, my professor before 40 years had written the postmortem report. Now I am able to read that postmortem register, and I am learning how to write a postmortem report. So that is a representation of the postmortem findings in the form of words is still the best. And postmortem diagnosis should be such, the findings should be such, it is always a systemic pathology. Never give a special type of diagnosis. You never write, it is HS. Postmortem diagnosis cannot be HS. Postmortem diagnosis is fibrinous pneumonia, hemorrhagic enteritis, suspected for HS. You can suggest, you can suspect a bacterial or any viral etiology or anything. But it is always a postmortem diagnosis, writing is always with a diagnosis of systemic pathoanatomical diagnosis. If you write any special diagnosis, you cannot sleep in the night, because this word presentation will be there forever. This can be produced in the court of law. So how, unless you demonstrate a bacteria or virus, how can you write a PM diagnosis is HS, BQ like that? So the best is pathoanatomical diagnosis, which I have seen in my naked eye. Nobody can challenge me. Whatever I have written, it is correct. It is because I have seen in my naked eye, and it is 100% true. This pathological finding is systemic in nature, and this is well presented, and also you can keep the photographs. All tissues or organs to be included in the writing, but you must describe. It should be so ornamental. Anybody can, a good pathologist or a good veterinarian, even also you can know from its postmortem report. The following salient features should be cared as fully as is applicable in each case with respect to position, size, weight, color, consistency, odor, surface, cut surface, shape, contents, lumen of the tubular organs. So describe the lesions with following points. Various lesions following terms may be used, whether it is a shape. If you want to describe the shape of an organ, you can write spherical, ovoid, conical, elliptical, triangular, flattened, nodular, tortuous, lobulated, discoid, crateriform, volvulus, puncture. So all these things can be used to describe the shape of an organ. Battery. So besides the shape, consistency. Similarly, you have to write the consistency of a liver. It is a firm liver. Similarly, hard, top, Pearson pressure, soft, friable, gelatinous, liquid, dry. So these terms are to be used in your postmortem report. People will appreciate you if you have written and used these terms in describing the organs. The surface of the organ. Here he ulcerated, covered with exudate, smooth, irregular, eroded, rough, pitted. So these are basic fundamentals of writing a postmortem report with respect to the changes in the organs. Tubular structures, patent means expanding, obstructed, dilated, obliterated, narrowed, diverticular, and branched. Weight, wasting conditions, size, enlarged, small, shrunken, dilated, contracted. So you have to use in a comparative sense. Color, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, or violet together with brown, black, red with brown, orange with black, like that. Combination of any two these adjectives also will cover all the color tints likely to be encountered. Fluids, watery, viscid, exudates may be pasty, crumbly, insufficient. These are very, very important pathological terms to be used in describing postmortem report writing. And always you write postmortem report in past tense. Liver was enlarged, like that. So once postmortem is complete, you write the postmortem report as early as possible immediately after the postmortem. Otherwise, you will forget many things. Or you dictate somebody during postmortem to write the postmortem findings. But never forget to collect the morbid samples for further investigation, for further laboratory investigation. If it is histopathology, people do not, because you are not there always to collect the samples. Many people are collecting the samples who is doing postmortem. Tissue should be collected soon after the death. The portion that contain lesion along with the adjacent healthy structures should be collected. Capsule may be included. It should not be very big. I collected, somebody sent me a sample of an elephant. He has sent a liver of an elephant of around 5 kg. It is not that elephant size is big, so that the organ size also should be very big. So it should be 1 cubic centimeter to 1 cubic inch in size of an organ, or little bit more, to accommodate both healthy and unhealthy regions. Volume of PCT should be always 10 to 20 times. Suppose you have put an organ, 10 times volume of the fluid, formal saline solution. So these are the large sized, incorrect. Correct size. These are incorrect size. You can see the incorrect and irregular sizes should not be encouraged. So the sharp knives with one stroke will give regular shapes to the morbid tissues. These are the correct sizes. How you have to collect even kidney to be cut longitudinally, you have to collect both cortex, medulla, even with the covering. Fixative, you all know, formal saline solution. I am not going to describe about its preparation, but be careful how to make it fixative of 10% formal saline solution. Many times people commit mistakes. Always it should be wide mouth container, like this, wide mouth container, not like this improper size and quantity. You should not pack so that you see the tissue remain unfixed. These are unsuitable for any histopathological examination further, because the fixatives are not penetrated. Never use a narrow mouth container. Tissues can be pushed to this narrow mouth container, but you cannot bring it out for your examination. You have to break. So brain sample need more amount of fixative. Even impression smears, remove a small piece of tissue, touch the cut surface lightly, like this. So you can prepare a small impression smears from the morbid tissue on the slide. Even you can also any fluid like pus, intestinal surface, mucosa, or anything. You can also prepare impression smear like that. Even also you can do like this with a bird, with a swab. But at the same time also you should be ready with all the bacteriological kits for bacteriological examination. Shipping of the bacterial samples and the morbid samples, you must use disposable packing materials. First, this is the primary container, then a secondary container, then a third container. First container, primary containers. This is secondary container. This is a primary container. Then with some observing materials, secondary container. Then finally in a thermocol box. It is the final container, outer package. Like this. Then finally you must be careful how the carcass is disposed of, either by burial method or incineration or compost method. Buried deep in ditches. Deep grave can be dug where the carcass easily can be rolled, followed by contaminated layer of earth, buried between layers of lime. Burial pit of a carcass disposal. You use lime always. This is an incinerator. This is also a small incinerator with a small height chimney, little bit away. That this also you can use for disposal purpose. So in this way, you have to be very careful how to have postmortem, how to have a postmortem examination, how to write a postmortem report, how to give a message to the clinician, how to go for further investigation. So finally, people will be happy if you give a diagnosis, both systemic and also etiological, and a source of etiology. So you take a credit when during postmortem, if you are having exposure and experience, you can directly say to the farmer that there is a problem due to this disease. You will see a postmortem findings. You are having experience. You expect that this disease will come. This is that. So from your experience, if you are really an expert, if you are a good pathologist, even from postmortem findings, you can say, you can link to shed, problem in the shed or yard. You can link the problem in the hatchery. You can link to the newborn calves or day-old chicks. You can link to the feed. You can link to the air. You can link to the water, litter or manure, hands, legs or dresses of the farm laborer, farm equipments, vehicles, rodents, flies or insects. or you can link to the affected animals or birds or dead animals or birds. So these are some of the important points, aspects just surrounding the animals, surrounding the farm, which are responsible for management and also which are responsible for the causation of the disease. So you can link also. You can say the status of the farm, you can say the status of the shade, you can say the status of the environment, even also from postmortem findings. Postmortem is so powerful. Postmortem diagnosis is so powerful. So now, if really it is powerful, then we can give a diagnosis so that we can say, yes, there is a problem in your biosecurity, you go for this. You can also have a timely detection and proper care. And now proper postmortem laboratory diagnosis, even people are going for online postmortem diagnosis, people are doing postmortem there in a distance. There is a video calling or even also photographs. Every day also I am getting photographs of dead animals or birds organs for a suggestion. So that also be helpful. People can get your help from a distance. So by that, whether it is related to bacteria, virus, nutrition, or management fault, can be targeted so that you can give any other aspects like sanitizers, antibiotics, supplements, anticoccidial, deworming, or disinfectants. All these are required, but all these depend upon your powerful postmortem diagnosis and further investigation. So by this way, I have told many things. I have also left many things. Pathology is very vast. Biology is very vast. We all know that. Biology is very vast. Veterinary science is very vast. Pathology is very vast. So I hear, I forget. I see, I remember. What I do, I understand. So if you want to conquer these vast science, very important science for the animals, you please involve yourself. If you do it, you can well understand and you can well apply for that. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening us with such a nice lecture. Dr. Purnima.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your elaborative and such an interesting lecture. We always feel that PM changes and PM report writing is a difficult one, and it's so important as well. And you made all the doubts very clear, very in such a elaborative manner. Thank you so much. Now, a request to the participants to ask if they have any queries, please.
Well, am I audible, Dr. Purnima?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
If no query is there, then I have one simple or humble query. Sir, first of all, I will congratulate for such a nice and exhaustive presentation, which has covered right from case report to techniques of conducting postmortem examination. Actually, we will cover such a long presentation in 2 or 3 theory classes, and you have merged all them in such a small small presentation. So it was very elaborative and very educative to all of us. Sir, one simple question is there in my mind. I was waiting some light on wildlife postmortem reporting. One case was there since last 2 days with me. A postmortem of tiger was there. So in situ, at VTR, there was a postmortem of tiger, and the tiger was found dead, and it was with maggoted wound, and I think the report was it was seen after 2 to 3 days in the forest. So the forest official has asked the veterinarian to write a postmortem diagnosis on such a rotten or such an decomposed carcass. So how to conclude the postmortem examination if we people find decomposed carcass where it is not possible to find any conclusive postmortem lesion or all the vital organs are putrefied, then how to conclude, what to write in the conclusive PM diagnosis? What should be punch mark in the PM diagnosis?
Thank you, Dr. Kaushal. Actually, this is a very valid question. Many times also people ask me the same thing, even veterinarians also. It is very simple. Carcass is completely putrefied. Cause of the death could not be ascertained.
Only cause of death should
this
not
much. But you have to write each and every organ.
Sir.
That liver, there was advanced putrefaction of the liver. There was intestine. There was distension of the intestine. There was foul smelling. There was presence of maggots. Muscles were already decomposed and putrefied. So each and every organ should be marked with putrefactive changes. And finally, it is obvious in science there is no way to give any diagnosis. But again, I am telling you, we are going to give diagnosis for almost all types of wild animals here. We are equipped with all types of facilities in our Center for Wildlife Health, starting from metagenomic analysis up to RT-PCR. So you never, post-mortem diagnosis will be this much, that cause of the death could not be ascertained, but you can collect the samples, even putrefied samples from different organs, including the blood also. If you put it for anything, any history is coming with respect to poison, any history is coming with respect to any infectious disease or common infectious diseases, that can be also subjected for metagenomic analysis or even RT-PCR also. That we can do. We are doing that. Many putrefied, even in elephants, we are going to always to screen elephant endotheliotrophic herpes virus infection. That we are doing. Even in poisoning also, you have to go for a chemical examination of the things which are present in the stomach.
Sir.
So those things also, because the if it is asked by the, suppose it is there is a query from the forest officials here, perhaps somebody has poisoned this animal, that to be taken care of. But again, metagenomic analysis is a now very advanced technique.
Sir.
That can be done. But even many times I told you that postmortem is a beginning in the diagnosis, is an end to the diagnosis also. You can end the postmortem diagnosis here. Nobody can challenge you if you are not able to give a diagnosis, specifically a systemic diagnosis on the basis of postmortem findings.
Thank you, sir. Such cases also come from veterological cases. We ऐसा होता है, so many times it happened that we used to receive carcass of 2 to 3 days.
Yes,
So,
yes. It is a fault with the forest officials because the animal is not detected in proper time.
sir.
So it is up to them how they will detect as early as possible after death, and they should present the animal to the veterinarian. That is their work. Since there is negligence, or even also after foul smelling only, they are able to know that this animal has died somewhere. So for the sake of postmortem, you will do the postmortem, but for the sake of diagnosis, it is impossible.
Sir.
Specifically postmortem diagnosis.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightenment of us.
I also have a query, sir. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, you are audible, Purnima.
Sir, I also have a query. Actually, right now we can't confirm any disease until unless you're performing any molecular test like PCR and all. But sometimes we used to get some lesions are very much typically related to a certain disease. For example, hemorrhages in the tip of proventricular is clear indication of Ranikhet, or button-shaped ulcer are related to the swine fever. So I want to take your opinion into this, that whether it's correct to write on the basis of pneumonic lesions, or we need to perform a molecular test before writing it down in the PM reports.
No, you cannot write any special diagnosis in postmortem because you are not able to demonstrate that. Postmortem diagnosis is based on your naked eye examination. Naked eye examination means you have seen the pathology in the organ, not the organism.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It is always said pathoanatomical diagnosis.
Yeah.
And it is a systemic diagnosis. PM diagnosis is an organ-based diagnosis. But you can write that. just suspected for or suggestive of.
Okay.
If you are more closer to diagnosis, then you can write suggestive of hog cholera. You can write suggestive of Newcastle disease.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody else if want to ask any question, please raise your queries. I think nobody wanted to ask. So thank you so much for joining us and showing your elaborative speech and lecture. We are really blessed that you joined us for this lecture session. And by this, I'll signing off this particular session, and tomorrow we'll meet by 3 o'clock for the another session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Once again, I thank all of you for your all good wishes and always all love and affection to me and to my state and to my college and to my university. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Shall I end the meeting now?
Hello.
Yes, sir, please.
कोई और questions नहीं है तो you can thank the speaker and conclude the meeting.
Yes, sir. Okay.
मैं भी अपने on my behalf I also convey my thanks to Dr. Panda for this wonderful presentation, and he has covered you know the such a vast area of postmortem and how we should you know conduct postmortem and why it is so important. He cited so many examples of wildlife parasites and many such cases where you can be more proactive in diagnosis, and how this postmortem helps in you know further diagnosing the diseases and taking these clues, because veterinary pathology is a very vast subject and it covers so many species, so many diseases, and you may not have come across you know such cases because you are not doing such handling all the cases in a routine manner, especially the cases from wildlife. So that becomes very important. If we whatever information we get, we must take you know important points from there and include in our practice. So thank you, Dr. Panda. This
Namaskar,
is,
sir. Thank you so much.
a wonderful presentation, and I think all the participants you know stayed till the end. I was looking at the numbers. Now only some of them have left. So thank you very much. You can
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
conclude the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And shall I end the meeting now, sir, with your permission?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. See you.